dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and the attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E. The two dudes with the attitudes to bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
You're tuned in to Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast with Ryan Enjoys Wrestling and the Heartbreak Dude Denton. And this is our AEW backstage footage. The AEW.
Roll the tape.
Doing it. Roll the tape. Roll it. Roll it. Can you say that? Roll it. This is our AEW week. We're going to go all things Rampage, Collision, and that shit show of a Dynamite. It should be fun. We're going to still do a segment as well. We're going to have to get through Rampage and Collision, AEW fans. Sorry, we might breeze through it just so we can cover that shit show of a Dynamite.
I have a fun fact for you if you want to know. It's AEW related. Did you know that CM Punk is the first wrestler in history to be at WrestleMania and attend the Raw after WrestleMania and the AEW Dynamite after WrestleMania, all in the same week? There's your fun fact of the day.
That's some Rick Rude type of shit right there. I'm loving it. I am loving it. My favorite part about it is that Forbes put out the results of AEW Dynamite, and in the results it said CM Punk defeats Jack Perry in a backstage incident. You didn't see that?
I didn't.
That's Forbes. That's
awesome.
How you know you're a fucking joke. We'll get into that. Let's go with it before. Are you ready? That was the news, or you got news?
No, there's a little bit of news. I mean, it's kind of sort of, the two bits of minor news. So Matt Hardy actually announced, I think yesterday or today, that
his wife did.
Somebody announced it, but I think he confirmed it. But he is officially a free agent. AEW presented him with a new contract for him to extend him, and he turned him down. He declined it. And so he is officially a free agent, and he is going to, per his words or his wife's words, listen to all parties and go wherever is best for him. So there's a chance Matt Hardy is done in AEW. It doesn't sound like he's going back there anytime soon, but maybe he goes back to the WWE, maybe he goes to New Japan, maybe he goes back to TNA. But yeah, Matt Hardy is done in AEW. And I think it's just a matter of time now before Jeff is done. I think Jeff has a little bit more time on his contract, and they may add some time with the DUI suspension that he got. So who knows? But Matt Hardy is done, and I think it's a matter of time before Jeff is done.
All right, we're in Dynamite, and we're showing that footage and everything. I want you to bring me back to Matt Hardy, please. Just remember, just put it in your brain.
Okay, I'll try.
Because I just want to talk about just Tony Khan and dropping balls and not understanding business, shows, or wrestling. So just remind me. Okay. I want to talk about that. All right, and then we got one more, right?
There's another bit of news, and it's kind of more
state it, or no? Did somebody else state it? I thought he did. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's more speculation than anything, but let me just pull it up. But Hook mentioned, let me just find the exact source. So it said that hang on, come on. So according to SES Scoops, and that is a dirt sheet that I think they just quote other dirt sheets, but Hook is looking to explore his free agency whenever his contract expires later this year. His contract is up in, I want to say, June or July of 2024. And right now Hook is involved in a partnership with Chris Jericho, and it's probably going to end in a feud between the two. But this report also adds that the WWE may have potential interest in Hook. They're familiar with Hook, with WWE's recruitment strategy, and they say that they can see the WWE being very, very interested in bringing the son of Taz over to WWE. And I think Hook would be fantastic in NXT. I think if you brought Taz over as his mouthpiece and let Taz cut promos for Hook and let Hook just be kind of I don't want to compare the two, but kind of like what Paul Heyman was to Brock Lesnar. I think Taz could be that for Hook. I know they're two different builds. I'm not saying that Hook is just like Brock Lesnar. I'm just saying Brock's weak point was the microphone and Brock's strong point was kicking ass in the ring. I think the same thing goes for Hook. His weakness is the mic. His strengths are in the ring. So let's let Taz be his mouthpiece. But Taz is still signed with AEW. So who knows? This is all speculation.
For how long, though?
Yeah.
I feel like people will be leaving soon.
Yeah. But all speculation. But, I could see Hook thriving in NXT.
I fully agree. Hook and NXT equals money. Hook versus Dirty Dom is a match I would pay a lot of money to see. I'm all for, let's get Hook in there. Send Hook. We don't need that dumb bat signal, but send Hook. Yeah. I'm all about Hook.
I don't mind the back signal. I think the back signal is awesome. I imagine that in like NXT or at like the Raw after WrestleMania, they just, like somebody's getting beat down and they put the bat signal up and it says Hook and he runs out there. Oh, it'd be awesome.
The only reason why is because what does he do once the bat signal hits? Maybe it would work if he was somebody. He's not. Yeah. He just comes out and we'll get into it with Chris Jericho. All right. Are you ready? Let's get into Rampage.
All right.
1, 2, 3. Rampage review. Malachi Black defeats Christopher Daniels to open up the show. Roderick Strong defeats London Lightning. He's related to Lightning McQueen. Wardlow makes an appearance, ladies and gentlemen, and they all have a hug fest. Layla Hirsch wants Julia Hart, whoever the heck that is. Serena Deeb wins the match. Julia Hart is all in to face Layla Hirsch, whoever that is. We finally will get Zach Knight and Angelo Parker. And Daniel Garcia wins a 4-way, baby, in the main event. And that's Rampage. There it is. Quick and to the point. We have different views on this, unless you changed it now. But let me hear. What'd you think of Rampage?
Rampage is always really good stuff in the ring. It's always good stuff. I feel like this week's episode was kind of light on some of the storytelling aspects. I mean, a lot of them are, but we got a Saraya backstage promo with her brother and the girl that she's partnering with, whose name I can never remember. But
Hottie McHoddington.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, whew, that girl's got it going on. But other than that, I mean, like, there's not really a lot of stories, and so that's why I enjoy compelling storytelling, not just in the ring, but something to get me invested in some of these matches. And so, great stuff in the ring. I'm glad that Rampage is getting a lot of their big stars, Serena Deeb and Malachi Black and Roderick Strong, for example, being shown on Rampage. I think that's great for the show, but give me a reason to watch them. Give me a reason to want to tune in. Start a storyline on Dynamite to get me to want to watch Rampage. Start a reason on Collision to get me want to watch the following episode of Dynamite, or same thing with, to get me to tune into Rampage as well. So it's good stuff in the ring. Like, don't get me wrong, but the story aspect was really missing a lot this week.
Yeah, I mean, okay, but we still got Serena Deeb. She's kind of Rampage exclusive. We got finally Zach Knight and Angelo Parker, and then which we'll see in Collision and Dynamite. We have some things happening next Rampage. I do like that Rampage has been its own show. I do like that Rampage is Daniel Garcia and Serena Deeb,
it's got good stuff.
Black. I mean, House of Black was all over this week. Once again, Tony Khan, he has people just kind of disappear, and then he just brings them on back. And
exactly.
And second.
That's the frustrating part.
Instead of just having House of Black like just on Collision, they have them on all or none. It's like mind-boggling.
So there was one thing on Rampage that really, like, I could not figure out if this was given to this person by AEW or if they made it between shows. But I don't know if you saw, but this episode of Rampage was pre-taped after last week's episode of Dynamite. Last week's episode of Dynamite is the one where Adam Copeland cut the promo saying this is where the best wrestle, and he was talking all that, he was doing the response to CM Punk's interview on Ariel Helwani. So on Rampage this week, in the crowd, there was a person holding up a sign that said AEW, where the best wrestle. And it looked like he wrote it with a marker. It didn't look like it was like printed on anything. It was like he wrote the AEW logo.
Okay.
And I was just like, where the heck did he make that? Because did he make that between the shows? Did he make that while the show was going on? Because again, it's pre-taped, so it happened the same night. Or was he given that sign by? Did you see it? Do you remember? You know what I'm talking about?
So I don't know when AEW records things, but before Adam Copeland made that ridiculous promo, and he said that we're the best wrestle. The week before that, there was a guy with a sign that said AEW were the best wrestle. He stole that from a fan, a sign in the audience.
Yeah.
I saw that sign before and I laughed at it because I was like, we're the best wrestle. Look it up. And then Copeland said it. So I think they stole it. Maybe that guy just already maybe it was the same dude. Haven't they been in Canada for like 4 weeks? I don't. Because they were in Ontario again because they
were in London, Ontario. Yeah, I'm trying to find it on. I can pull it up.
There's London's in Ontario. Oh man, I need to learn my map.
There's an Ontario in California.
What? Aspen. I love the Rockies.
I don't know. Yeah, the French are assholes.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber, Steve, if you haven't.
Oh, God. Good stuff.
But anyway, all right, Rampage. It was good. I thought it was good. I thought I got to the point. I actually am going to be honest. I watched Rampage and Collision after I watched Dynamite. If I would have watched Rampage and Collision first, I probably would have thought AEW was cooking, if that's what the kids say, even though I just posted a thing saying stop saying cooking. But they were doing their darn thing. And then, well, let's get in. You ready for Collision?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Collision had a lot going on. A lot. All right, FTR defeats Top Flight to open the show. Okada video package. Pac defeats Encore Moore. Probably one of my top 5 favorite AEW superstars. Pac challenges Okada after the match. Daniel Bryan has an interview with Renee Paquette, and he wants to prove he's the best wrestler in town. AEW were the best wrestle. Jericho and Hook defeat Shane Taylor Promotions, even though I thought they were wrestling them on Dynamite. Anthony Ogogo jumps Hook and Jericho after the match. Dustin Rhodes versus Joe on Wednesday, baby. I wonder why that match is getting put together.
Interesting.
Ospreay cuts a promo with Renee and doesn't air hump her. Congrats, Ospreay. He's having the match with Bryan because he's there for the fight, eh, bruv? He's not Canadian. House of Black win a match again. After the match, Copeland attacks. Then Briscoe attacks. Then FTR attacks. Then the Bucks attack. And then a bunch of stuff happens. Rocky Romero is ready for Roderick Strong, and he's won belts everywhere but AEW, WWE, NXT, and any other big promotion. The Bucks will air the all-in backstage footage on Dynamite. We get a 6-way at Dynamite now. There it is. Hook, Jericho, and Sheeta versus Shane Taylor Promotions. Yuka defeats Trish. Daniel Garcia is ready to be a star. Claudio defeats the Butcher. Joe says his match with Dustin is the number 1 contenders match because why the hell would Dustin earn a title match? Main event time, and we get Penta defeating Commander, and Adam Copeland stares him down to close the show. And that is Collision, baby. I don't think I missed anything.
No, I think this episode of Collision was solid. I thought
solid, so.
Yeah, I thought it was, and kudos to Dustin Rhodes for. I thought he cut a nice little backstage vignette, talking about how much he wants the coveted prize that is the world heavyweight championship. It's been 36 years. And he wants a shot, and he demanded that Samoa Joe give it to him. I thought it was that whole vignette and everything was really well done. And yeah, I was excited about that match going into Dynamite. But again, we wonder why that match is happening. We just had a Samoan named Joe wrestle at the biggest show of the year against, Dustin Rhodes' younger brother, Cody. So
a Samoa named Joe, and he's Samoa Joe. You can't make this shit up. It's
I know.
But come on, Dustin. Was this like a Dustin hey, you can't be at Mania and appear with your brother, but we'll give you a title shot, a number 1 contender shot. You'll face Samoa Joe. Why the hell is he getting a shot? What are we doing in it? Are the rankings a thing? This is my thing.
Yeah.
No, yes, no. What the fuck is the point? What is it?
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I also don't I like that vignette, and then when they changed it to a number 1 contendership match, I was like, then what was the point of the vignette? Because the whole thing was Samoa Joe, put your title on the line against me. If you have the balls, you'll fight me. And now it's he's got to beat Samoa Joe twice to get a shot. He has to beat him once to get a shot at the title and beat him again to get the.
Just wait till we get to the match.
It's so freaking dumb.
What was the difference? Why couldn't he? If you're gonna have him fight, just have him have the title. He was gonna lose either way. Spoiler alert, everybody.
I know it makes no sense. I don't get it. But other than that, I thought Collision was pretty solid.
Mhm.
You know, the Adam Copeland with that whole segment really confused me because he's feuding with the House of Black, but he had Mark Briscoe in the ring with him,
Mhm.
but then all of a sudden the Young Bucks are coming out and
Uh-huh.
FTR is coming to his
Mhm.
rescue and everybody's just beating up each other and I'm
Mhm.
just like, okay, this is overbooking 101. Like you got
Yeah.
too many things going on at one time. Adam Copeland and the Young Bucks haven't even shared a ring together yet, and yet you're going to have them try to beat each other up because because FTR is coming to help them against House of Black, who they feuded with like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
That whole segment really, I know it's leading to their pay-per-view against House of Black, but why did FTR and the Bucks need to get involved?
I don't know. And did you notice CM Punk was there too? He showed up and started shoving people, putting them in
Of
headlocks.
course.
All
Yeah.
right, we got you know what? I'm actually excited for Pac and Okada. I'm not excited for Pac to lose, but I'm excited for that match. I mean, that's going to be a freaking banger as long as they sell their moves. So I'm enjoying this right now, and especially from here. I thought it was another good build. I like what they're doing. I don't know why Jericho and Hook are wrestling Shane Taylor Promotions 17 times in 1 week, and I don't even know why we
Bet.
care about Shane Taylor Promotions. Yeah, even their girl, or no, that was the Infantry. Did you notice that the girl from the Infantry came out and she had like a thing around her leg, but she had like a dollar bill or something in it? Was it a dollar? I was watching the whole time, like, is that money? Like, why is she like
Yeah.
is she a prostitute? I'm confused, or a stripper? I'm confused on what the dollar bill was in her, or does that represent something I missed? I know she was from military, but I don't remember anyone in the military carrying dollar bills, unless it wasn't a dollar bill. Maybe I'm wrong. It looked like
Yeah.
money.
I don't know what it was, but it was weird. It was the whole thing was weird.
And that match was slow.
Yeah, it looked like a dollar bill to me, but
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, that match was. I'm happy that we got to see Serena Deeb, and I think she kind of came in and saved that whole segment with
Mhm.
that whole. Even though she didn't do anything, she just kind of came out, smiled, and clapped.
She really hasn't done anything, but
No,
yeah.
but to me, like anytime she's on the screen,
Mhm.
I'm gonna watch, and I think she gave that match a little bit more star power, and
Mhm.
in my opinion, saved it because I thought, like you said, that match was really, really slow and just drawn out.
It was, and hey, they showed Julia Hart all over Collision and Rampage as well, and her build against Nobodyington. But here's the thing, right? I just did a top 5 on my TikTok of the best things going on in AEW. Number 1, I put the women's division, and I mean that.
Yeah.
All the flaws that Tony Khan has, and all the ways Tony Khan's trying to bury his own company, and I truly believe that he's trying to. I do. I truly believe he's trying to ruin his company. I'm like convinced now after showing that footage, which we'll get into and get more into on Dynamite in like 2 seconds. But that women's division, man, they're getting more time than anything. And we can get into that maybe, but the fact that WrestleMania had 3 women's matches out of 13 matches total, and Rampage, Collision, and Dynamite are frequently showing the women in multiple matches and building stories. I just don't get how Tony Khan can have this women's thing down so well. And NXT. Shoot, NXT has a secondary women's title. Nobody else does. Well, I guess AEW does with TBS. But yeah,
Yeah.
so NXT does too. So it's like, why are we getting it right here, but Trips can't get it right? I don't understand. It ain't hard to book the women. Book them like the men.
Yeah, and it just feels like Tony Khan. He seems to do one thing really, really well, and then he'll move on from this one thing and do something else. One thing really, really well. We got to get him to do multiple things really, really well, because for the longest time the women's division wasn't getting a lot of love and attention, and then it became a priority for him in 2024, and he's done a fantastic job. The women are looking great. I mean, we're getting young up and coming stars like Mariah May. We have, Serena Deeb, who's not young and up and coming, but she's, then you have Ruby Soho and Saraya doing their thing on Rampage. Tony Storm's killing it. Mercedes Monet's there. With
they're
Willow
pushing Maria May and Willow Nightingale. Like
Willow Nightingale's doing her thing. Julia Hart is all over our screen. This Layla Hirsch is getting
Who is that?
She's
we'll talk about the girl on Dynamite too.
Yeah, she's been on Ring of Honor for the last 6 or 7 months or so.
That's what it is. Okay.
But yeah, she's got a good look. So yeah, he's really doing good things with this women's division, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever
We
be,
gave
man.
ourselves time. All right, let's
Yeah.
do this review. I was gentle in the review, but we'll get into it. Dynamite review, and away we go.
Here we go.
Swerve Strickland attacks Joe as he walks down the ramp to open the show. He spears him through a table that Joe set up to make sure he wouldn't get hurt. Cassidy will comment on Trent Beretta on Rampage, baby. Adam Copeland defeats Penta to defend his title. That was a shocker. After the match, Brody King goes after Copeland, but is distracted by Willow Nightingale of all people. Jericho, Hook, and Shibata are ready for their match. We will get a mixed tag match with the House of Black versus Willow, Copeland, Kingston, and Briscoe in what was probably the most random, awkward, should have been scripted promo I've ever seen. The Young Bucks are talking next to a 5-inch screen TV. They explain that the altercation was a master plan by FTR so that they would lose by being distracted as the EVPs. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not making that shit up. That is 100% what they said. They show the footage. We'll get into it. Then the Bucks close with saying they will not shake FTR's hands at Dynasty. We instantly get FTR that comes out for a promo, and they literally say, quote, end quote, that showing that footage was dumb. Not making this up, people. They literally came out afterwards and said, that was stupid and pointless. Why'd you show it? Then, yeah, they're going to win at Dynasty, I guess. Let's move on. Will Ospreay comes out instantly afterwards and probably cuts the worst promo ever, which we will also show on this podcast pretty soon, so we got to get into it. Shane Taylor Promotion defeats Hook, Y2J, and Shibata, and it looks like they're already breaking up. Okada wins a squash match. Why the hell do we have Okada in squash matches? Okada wants Pac. Pac comes out, but the Bucks jump him. Out comes FTR for the save. And once again, I am not making this up, but the crowd chants CM Punk. Ladies and gentlemen, this is real. I am not shooting. This is all one. I am. This is 100% real life, y'all. Jay White wants to fight on Rampage. I'm telling you, Rampage is it. Tony Storm literally just beats up Thunder Rosa. They were supposed to have champagne, and she just splashed it in her eye. That was Thunder Rosa's kryptonite. And she melting, and it was pretty much over. It was a weird segment. Mariah May beats Anna Jay and then kisses some girl named Mina. Some girl comes out from Stardom and literally makes out with her, and I have no idea what the hell I'm watching. It gets better. I'm not making this up.
Oh,
Mercedes Moné has an interview. The lights go out, and when they come back in, Mercedes Moné is literally having a wet dream. I'm not lying. She's having a wet dream on the floor. In the main event, Samoa Joe defeats Dustin Rhodes in a match that shouldn't have happened. After the match, Swerve takes out Joe and holds up the belt to close what I say is one of the worst wrestling shows ever to air on TV. The end. Was I nice about it? I think I was pretty nice, right?
Yeah, you were a lot nicer than I would have been because that episode was garbage.
I told no lies.
No.
Mercedes Moné woke up on the floor with her eyes closed, sleeping, going, It was the weirdest. I saw someone post saying, damn, Mercedes Moné, I was at work watching Dynamite. You got to prep me before you do that or something like that. They should have put out a not suitable for work before she
in SFW. Yeah.
Is that her like being in pain? Has she never been in pain before?
That whole segment. Before? That whole segment was just she needs to. What
are we doing with her? What are we doing with her?
I hate to criticize people's performance and stuff, but she's one of those. Like her promos are. She reminds me of like a high school girl. So did you like? I'm here as the CEO of AEW, and I'm gonna wrestle at Double or Nothing. So. I'm going to win the TBS championship against either Willow Nightingale. Like her promo is just, it sounds like every sentence ends with a question. I'm going to wrestle the winner of Willow Nightingale or Julia Hart at, and then the lights go off and like the poor interviewer's like, turn the lights back on.
And then what are we doing? Why? What does?
Was that Julia Hart that was attacking her? Is that what we're supposed to think?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. If Julia Hart attacked me in the dark and I fell asleep, I'd probably have a wet dream too.
Oh, I'd be moaning too. Yeah.
I don't know if that was what it was, but anyway, are you ready to get into the shit? Well, do you want to talk about, because the only other thing we're going to talk about is Swerve Strickland, right? So you want to talk about Swerve and Joe, and then we'll get into the
that's the only good thing they have.
I like the opening of Joe coming out and getting his ass whooped.
Oh, I did too. I liked it too.
Yeah.
I liked it because it was a switch, right? Like usually AEW opens up with a 20-minute match, and I was like, why are they opening with? So I was like, maybe they're going to close the show with the footage, which, if I was running the show and I decided to air this footage, A, I hope everybody would bash me the way Tony Khan's getting bashed, but also B, I would end the show airing the footage because that's what everyone tuned in to watch it. That's what everyone tuned in to watch. So why would you put it at the 8:52 mark or whenever it was that it aired? But anyway, I was surprised to see that, Swerve Strickland came out and beat up Samoa Joe during his entrance. It was all good stuff. I like that fight. And then I like that they main evented with Swerve or Samoa Joe and Dustin Rhodes.
But that match was straight like it was a squash match, but then Joe had to cheat to win. I was very confused on why he needed
to cheat to win to beat Hook too.
Yeah, like what in the isn't Joe this like dominant I don't know. I get it. I know. Another Samoan named Joe had to cheat to win, but he was wrestling Sami Zayn and Randy Orton and Kevin. He wasn't wrestling Hook and Dustin Rhodes. And no offense to Hook and Dustin Rhodes, but you're not those guys.
No,
he doesn't need to be cheating to beat Dustin Rhodes. People, how does that make me think he's going to beat Swerve?
Yeah, I know.
Dustin Rhodes having to cheat to beat Dustin Rhodes would be like getting into a physical fight backstage and losing to somebody 25 years older than you. You know what I mean? How embarrassing would that be?
Yeah, and then showing the footage of that fight about 8 months later on TV and making it part of a storyline would, if that 25-year-old, the guy that's 25 years younger trying to make a return to wrestling. So let's make this beatdown a storyline.
Oh man, I've never seen somebody roll so quickly through a push. Okay. With all that said, what else have we got? That's really it. That Thunder Rosa thing was stupid. That was like the only bad thing I've seen of Tony Storm ever.
And the whole whoever that girl was that kissed Shirakawa kissed
I thought
Mariah
her name was
May.
Nina.
I think it is like Mina Shirakawa.
Oh, okay.
She's from Stardom, I guess. But
what? Once again, why does Tony Khan just pull random people out? Like he expects, and no one knew who she was. The crowd was silent. They were silent when the other girl came out too. They if you're not showing us at all who these people are. And I saw somebody on X defend the fact that they were like, well, they brought Dragunov and Roxanne Perez out, and no one knew who they were. Yes, they did, and they came out with title belts of NXT. They're like. They're completely different. Dragunov and Roxanne Perez have been on Raw and SmackDown before. It's not their first time. Like you just have these people from Stardom. Like who the hell's watching Stardom? Like honestly, like what percentage of wrestling fans watch Stardom? 5? Yeah. And so you're having
give us something to tell us who she is. Why should we care? Is there history between her and Mariah May? Why are they?
Well, there was, but the announcers didn't say it, right? I didn't hear the announcers say shit. So
no, it was really odd. But going back to Dustin Rhodes for a second, I don't want to hear anybody else say anything about Jon Moxley bleeding in the middle of the ring, because Dustin Rhodes, every match he's in, he comes out gushed in blood. Every single, I don't think I can name a match where he hasn't left the ring covered in blood. So, if people are going to bash Jon Moxley for bleeding every match, Dustin Rhodes needs it too, because he bleeds all the time. He bleeds walking out to the ring.
You look at you defending Renee Paquette's husband.
I know.
So proud of you.
Yeah.
So proud of you. I agree. And his brother's all about it too, because he got thrown up by his hands to a truck and then was like slicey McGoogie.
Oh yeah.
And was off. By the way, how could you slice your own forehead? I know wrestlers have been doing it forever and it seems like they don't care much, but I don't know if I could take a blade and cut my forehead with it. I don't know if I could just do that. I'd rather have you just bust my head open. I don't think I could purposely cut myself.
Yeah, I don't think I could do it either.
You got to be sick. I feel like you got to be somewhat a little bit off to just be like, all right, cut.
Yeah.
Like, all good.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just bash my head in with a chair, please.
yeah, just do it the hard way. Do it
If
the
I
hard
bleed,
way.
I bleed. If not, then not. But I'd much rather have that.
But,
at least I'm not doing it to myself.
But yeah, every match Dustin Rhodes is in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to bet it's like I look at what we can pull up every. I'm willing to bet he's bled in AEW more than John Moxley has.
Yeah,
I'm willing to put money on the line. But either way, that was really the only good thing other than that match. The Swerve Samoa Joe. That was the only good thing about Dynamite. And now we can get into the bad. I don't know where we want to start. Do we want to start with the footage?
Start in order, right? Yeah, let's start in order of how they showed it. And once again, before this footage shows, they did actually show the footage in case you didn't watch AEW this week. I'm sure you did. Secondly, they made it, like I said, into a storyline that basically FTR was masterminding it, and one of the Young Bucks, I forget which one is which, or who said it, basically was like, "You can't say that. We can be sued for that." I don't know if that was a joke. And then they showed it, and then they blamed him again, and then FTR basically came out after the footage and was like, that was stupid. Why'd you show that?" They chanted CM Punk, and supposedly chanted CM Punk the entire time the footage was being shown, is what I've been told and what I've seen video of. I don't know if it's altered. I wasn't there. But I know that was chanted when I said it was, when they came out. That was 100% chanting CM Punk. And it's just, you want to show them, we can go into why we think you can push it into a storyline, because I'm confused.
Yeah.
You want to do that? All right.
Yeah. So there's no audio for people listening on Spotify or Apple. So we'll talk a lot during it, but
we should, yeah.
There is no audio of what happened 8 months ago at AEW All In. So here we go.
There it is.
So CM Punk walks up to Jack Perry backstage. You see Samoa Joe over in the left. Hook is
ready to enter.
There's Hook under the light.
Oh, there's Hook. I was wondering where he came from. Okay.
Yeah. But CM Punk and Jack Perry are engaged in conversation. And then
referees.
I'm going to stop it in right there. You see, he's looking right at Tony Khan. Tony Khan is behind those computer monitors. Mm-hmm. And I bet that's when, in his interview with Ariel Helwani, that's when CM Punk was probably like, and I'm just assuming here that, hey, you're going to do something about this. And that's when Tony Khan was like, well, what do you want me to do? And CM Punk was like, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You figure it out. Because I'm assuming that's happening right here because he's looking right at Tony Khan in Tony Khan's direction.
And before you go any further, this is obviously not heated yet. It will get heated. But I want you to look at everybody else. There's dude in hat, blurry dude, random headphone dude, guy in the black. I know these guys are somebody. I forget who they are. 2 referees, hot chick referee, Hook, Samoa Joe, other announcers. Nobody seems to give 2 shits about what's going on. I just want to throw that out there just before we get into it, because Tony Khan made a comment about this. And so far, CM Punk, everything he said is true. People are defending the fact that Jack Perry is the victim and that he was assaulted. I'm sorry, but if you're going to talk shit and words are words and it's between 2 grown men, I don't condone violence, but shit happens if you're going to run your mouth. So.
Especially 2 hothead athletes too. Like, it happens in NFL practices, in 100%. NBA practices. Draymond Green and Jordan
punched
Poole.
Dude.
Yeah, they punched each other, and Draymond got suspended for it, but they ended up playing the rest of the season together, and then they traded Jordan Poole.
Yeah, where's all these idiots on the internet talking about he should have been fired, right? Oh, you'll get fired in a workplace if you push somebody. It's assault. No, you don't, people.
No.
All right.
But anyway, here we go. So he's looking at Tony Khan, maybe talking to person backstage.
And he's still holding his fake belt, too. So he's not even like...
And then Samoa Joe is pacing.
You can see that Jack Perry is getting loud. Boom. So he pushes him in the face again, grabs him by the neck, which Jack Perry is not getting out of.
Yeah. I'm stopping right there because right over where the monitors are, people were saying that's Tony Khan. He's trying to reach over the monitors to break up this fight somehow or what. But
there's the belt.
Yeah, you can see the belt. He dropped it. But yeah, Tony Khan is apparently behind these monitors which is, I guess, their version of the gorilla position for AEW. So people were asking where Tony Khan is. You can see his arm.
You can see his head too. Isn't that his hair right there in his head? I don't know.
Yeah, but so you can't really make a clear image of him. But yeah, that's supposedly his arm and his head.
All right. So he puts him, Samoa Joe lifts him up like a baby, and there he is. He's yelling, which I'm assuming he's saying right now, "You're a clown, and I quit."
Yeah, but
Jack Perry wants nothing. He's like, "Please leave me alone."
You can see CM Punk lunge in the direction of Tony Khan, and
but not in a threatening manner. By the way, I didn't think so.
Yeah, I wish we had the audio. I mean, we don't because we don't know what was said, but it looks like he's having to be restrained by these two guys. One of them is Chris Hero, and I think the other one is Jerry Lynn.
There they are. Good job.
Yeah. So they're having to restrain him. But is that the moment where Tony Khan feared for his life when CM Punk was lunging at him? I mean, I don't know.
Because everybody's still look at who's homeboy right there walking by in the purple. Who was that? That's Malachi Black. Who was the one in the purple and the gold that walked by first?
Oh, Sanjay Dutt. Yeah.
Sanjay Dutt seemed to give two shits about. Look at him. He doesn't even like flinch. Look at him. He's just like, meh, whatever. And by the way, let's look at Hook too. Oh
yeah, Hook is funny in this video.
It's like still in character, unless that's not a character. But he's literally just like, meh.
Yeah.
Looking it's left and right, like whatever.
It's like he took Orange Cassidy's character because he's like barely he's like using his finger to hold Jack Perry back.
Yeah,
and he's like looking in Punk's direction.
And look at Malachi Black forcefully having to get Punk out of there. It was so scary.
Yeah,
just casually going, "Let's go, dude."
Yeah, and then Punk walks away.
Who walked in at the last second?
Let's see.
Right there. Who's that?
Maybe that might have been. That looked like Taz. That looks like a suit that Taz would wear.
He was like, "Huh?
What's going on, guys?"
All right. Yeah. We need to get some sandwiches. All right. So
hopefully this video doesn't get pulled down. Because apparently a bunch of YouTubers were streaming the footage, and like immediately they were met with copyright violations from AEW. Yeah, because it's almost like this wasn't a good idea to release this, and they quickly realized that it was going to backfire on them in a heartbeat.
So, and now they've taken it down. Supposedly, it's not even up for them anymore. Correct?
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
I haven't checked, but I heard that too. I heard that you can't find it on their website, or you can't find it in any of the the YouTube video of Dynamite or anything. Yeah, it's not there.
All right, so I'll let you go first. So I guess just give your take of why, what, and like we said afterwards, FTR then came out and basically said, "Don't show the footage." Basically, they're showing this footage to push the Young Bucks versus FTR at Dynasty. I want you to tell me if it helped you like that match more. What you think of the footage? Who's to blame? Is this anything? Why aren't people on X saying it's assault? You don't have to answer all these. I can answer them with you. Whatever you want to do. We still got Ospreay too. So
when they teased that they were going to release the backstage footage, it piqued my curiosity. I'm not going to lie. And I even 100%. I made a video on TikTok saying that just release it on TMZ or put it on. Like, why couldn't this go on TMZ or YouTube or
why didn't he go back on Ariel Helwani? He was afraid to say anything last time, and that's why Ariel Helwani hates him now. Why not go back and say, "Hey, now I'm ready to show
Exactly. So, but that was my biggest gripe: is why is this being put on TV, and why are they turning this into a potential story with FTR? And then I see the footage, and I'm like, why? What did that prove? What did you get out of that as a company? You didn't pop a rating. I know that the ratings went up 30% or whatever from last week.
Back to trash. Trash. Yeah.
They went from like 755,000 to 810,000 or something, but that's a 30% increase.
Yeah.
And, that's TNT's happy with that. No, you didn't pop a rating. And even if you did, you got an increase because people wanted to see CM Punk on AEW television because he's a freaking draw. But gosh, man, why this? And that's the footage that made you fear for your life. Like, I just want to know, like, what were they looking to get out of this? What was the plan? What was the point? Nobody has been able to tell me, other than to make it a story and to make Jack Perry the scapegoat or the give him is Jack Perry going to come back as a babyface and he's going to be the anti-hero, or is he going to be he still a heel?
Thank you. I'm glad you said that.
What is going on? Like, I know that because he was a heel before he left, and
he's supposed to be a heel now.
Yeah, he's coming back is he going to be with the Bucks, or is he going to turn on the Bucks? Because last time I heard, like, the Bucks could have saved Jack Perry as being the EVPs. They could have prevented him from being suspended. They could have brought him back any minute. So I don't really care. Like, at the end of the day, This did nothing for me. This didn't make me hate or like CM Punk any less. This actually made CM Punk look right. It made AEW look bad. It made Tony Khan look like an idiot. It made some of the Young Bucks look like fools. It was just, all of it was awful. And I can't believe they did this. I cannot believe that they did this.
Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet, man. This made nobody look bad but Tony Khan. The end.
Yeah.
Now, every time CM Punk talks about AEW, I'm going to believe it because everything he said on Ariel Helwani that I've seen now of proof of, he's telling the truth. So now I'm assuming that whole other brawl was all about other people and Tony Khan's fault. These guys are bickering for 35, 40 seconds, and Tony Khan didn't have the audacity to tell somebody standing there to, hey, will you separate these guys? Or for him to get up? They're obviously saying things and talking shit, and
within earshot too.
And you're on this camera. You just saw Jungle Boy basically say, "Cry me a river." I don't care what anybody of these fanboys and this and that. If you're gonna run your mouth, shit's gonna happen. And then when you go up and present yourself, and technically, supposedly we didn't hear it, you're running your mouth again. It was a push. He pushed him. Big flipping deal. I have kids at school push each other all the time. I don't suspend them. Like, this is like, it's a push. He got in his space. He was getting in his space, and he pushed him. He was putting up his hair. I don't care. That wasn't a cheap shot. He was probably putting up his hair because he might have been saying, hey, we're about to go down. So my thing is that Jack Perry is, I'm still a Jack Perry fan. I'm still a CM Punk fan. All this showed me was that Jack Perry got basically his butt handed to him by 2 pushes and a neck grab, a freaking guillotine, and about like by a man way older than him. So if you're going to bring back Jack Perry as this like scapegoat bad guy, that wasn't it. Because when he comes back, they're going to chant CM Punk and they're going to make fun of him. I think this ruined Jack Perry.
Yeah, this
not
killed
in
him.
my eyes, but I think this. I don't know what the hell Tony Khan was trying to do. Maybe Tony Khan does hate Jack Perry. Maybe he does blame Jack Perry for CM Punk leaving. Maybe he really did want CM Punk there, and so he showed this video to bury Jack Perry. Maybe that's why. I have no idea, but either way, it was stupid, pointless, and it did nothing. It didn't even. I thought Dynamite was going to get 1 million. It got 800,000. That's flipping embarrassing. That's all I have to say.
Atrocious.
What a waste.
Yeah, that was atrocious. And you know, I know there's people out there that say, if you say this is the end of AEW, then you want it to end. And we're not saying that we think AEW is going to die. We're not saying that we think AEW is in trouble, but I think we both want AEW to be successful. And this is what the WCW was doing. They were doing crap
100%.
like this back in 2000, 1999, 2000, that led to them eventually closing their doors and superstars exiting the company and mass exodus of employees and people jumping like the Radicals going to the WWF when they were at the hottest point of their WCW career. And then they had it was all this backstage stuff that they put on screen for stories that led to WCW's ultimate demise. And
I was alive during it, so don't try to say I wasn't. I saw people saying that you weren't alive during WCW 2000. You can't compare. Yes, motherfuckers, I was alive and well. I watched WCW. When I watch a show, I watch it if it sucks or not because I've already invested in it. That's all shows. Wrestling's no different. I'll watch AEW. Yeah. I'll watch AEW until it dies. And I'm posting another thing about the death of AEW. And yes, I do think the AEW is done. Tomorrow? No. 2 years from now? Probably not. But I think it will. And when it does, we're going to go back and look at this moment and say, that was a finger poke of doom. That was Hogan yelling at Russo. That was the moment. Mm-hmm. So, well, let's get into this other hot shit show of a mess from somebody I respect.
Yeah. So immediately following this footage. Going back to the footage, though, before we move on, the thing that got to me was everybody's facial expressions. And Tony Schiavone, everyone was like, oh, he's acting. That man looked dejected, defeated, deflated. He looked mad, like any emotion you could think of. That face of his when he didn't say a word. Taz and Excalibur were doing the Young Bucks are here to roll the footage from backstage at All In. And you could just see the look on Tony Schiavone's face. He was not happy. Mm-hmm. I don't think he was acting. I think he realized this is a stupid, idiotic decision. And yeah. And then in this other segment that we're about to show, Renee Paquette's face, which I don't have video of it, but her face during this was also like, oh my God, like I can't believe this. So I have,
you know that Tony Schiavone was the one that was forced to say the Mankind line, right? That buried WCW.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he was
Just
forced
saying.
to say, yeah. So later on, Will Ospreay came out and he cut a promo. He's interviewed by Renee Paquette, and it just he comes out, he talks to the crowd, and then he runs up, he gets on the microphone. You guys just have to hear it.
Aerial assassin, Will Ospreay.
So they got 5 minutes, bro.
Oops, hang on, sorry.
Aerial assassin, Will Ospreay.
Sorry.
Even Renee Paquette's voice is hot. Sorry, Mox, don't kick my ass. Kick Ospreay's ass. But, dude.
Well, I won't play all 5 minutes of this promo, but we'll just get to the good stuff.
We only need the beginning.
Yeah.
2.5 minutes.
So he comes out, he's running through the crowd, they're high-fiving, then he gets on the microphone.
Will, so great to see you out here tonight. I understand that you want to get some things off your chest. What's going on?
Here we go.
I've been thinking about this all week, and I've only just seen that Brian interview, so I need to respond to that as well. So my apologies, guys. I just want to talk. I asked Tony. He said, you got 5 minutes. TV time's expensive.
Now, I think
Shout
that
out
was
CM Punk.
yeah, because CM Punk
100%.
said that in the
There's this
Ariel Helwani
rumor
interview as
going
well.
around, right? There's this rumor that I'm afraid of the grind.
That's not a rumor.
No.
And I'll be honest with you, I
rumor?
have no idea where this conversation has come from, because I'm one of the only guys that are traveling every single week to the UK and America, 8-10-hour flights every single week, and I am delivering. Oh, hear that? I am delivering some of the best professional wrestling matches this world has ever seen, bruv. And normally I wouldn't rise to this type of bait. But seeing as the guy that said it is only in the position he is in because he was grinding on the boss's daughter.
So you don't see, but he air humps and is literally air humping
Yeah.
Renee
You
Paquette,
are in
and that's
no
when she looks
position to
disgusted.
tell me what the grind is all about, my friend, because you have no idea what I fight for.
God.
So let
I
me
posted about this.
Yeah. That
Let's-
it?
who
Yeah,
wants to go first? Yeah, that's. Oh, are you going to show Triple H too, or are we? Just
Yeah,
gonna do
so
this?
we can talk about where this all came from. So this was Triple H on the Pat McAfee show.
May say the best talent in the world is in the
Day before
WWE,
WrestleMania
and it's
night
been
one.
that way for a really long time.
And this is an interview.
And you
not
talk about
on
the
a show.
24/7 aspect of your job. How do you maintain the just everything you have going on in house
And
the
listen to
current
this, too.
superstars on
There's-
the roster, and
they-
also
they
looking
chant
at like talent
somebody's
acquisition
initials.
and finding the next Cody Rhodes or some of these other guys? Like how do you split that beam? How do you be where your feet are essentially while also looking out for the future of the business?
That's the trick, right? It's the trick in all of this. I say for me as well, like, married, 3 kids. I want to spend time with them. People ask me all the time, work-life balance. It's bullshit. There isn't work-life balance. There is none. You do the best you can. Be present where you are. If there are things that I used to be on top of all the time, I would keep track of everybody that was everywhere that was in this business working, right? I don't have time to do that anymore. I have people that do that. People like William
got
Regal
people.
and
I'll be his people.
different folks that are out there.
Former
that
AEW
I
great
get
William
reports
Regal.
on everybody. I know who's out there. I know how good they are. I know what their potential is. I see what's out there. I see what's don't. And I don't subscribe to the this guy says they're good. That guy says they're good. I have to see it and feel it, right? I have people that I trust. It's
MJF.
just keeping
They're
track
chanting
of who's
MJF,
out there,
yeah.
how good they are, and what you think they can do. And because they succeed someplace else doesn't
Here we
mean
go.
they'll succeed at the big time. How many players go from college football at a high level and fail in
This
the
is
NFL?
the dig at Ospreay.
It's massive, right? It's a different game. It's a different world. If they're not here to be all in on this, like when I see people that come out of, trying to make it, and then they pick the job where they go, well, they work less, the schedule's lighter. All right, then I'm glad I didn't get you.
Okay.
Because if you're not in it for
Nothing
the
wrong with
grind, at that point early in your career, you have no business being here.
Okay, so when I was in
Okay, so did you hear Will Ospreay's name?
No.
Okay. And once again, that was directed at Okada. Okada, when he wanted to sign, said, I do not want to sign with WWE because of the fact that I don't want to have to travel so much, go all around. I want to stay towards in Japan and go back and forth just a couple nights a week or whatever on time, which is perfectly okay. And Triple H didn't say, if you're one of these people, you're an idiot or a bad person or an asshole, or I'm going to talk about your wife and kids. He just made a statement on how he feels. So go ahead.
Yeah. You didn't hear Will Ospreay's name one time. You didn't hear Okada's name one time. In that same interview,
he could have been talking about Mercedes Moné, to be honest with you.
Yeah. But on that same episode, Pat McAfee also had Rhea Ripley on. And they were talking about WrestleMania, and he was like, why do you associate yourself with Dirty Dom? Why do you associate, if it wasn't for you've made Dirty Dom relevant, if it wasn't for you, he would be in that other place wrestling in front of 600 people. He said that to Rhea Ripley, whose husband works at AEW. If I'm Tony Khan, I'm more pissed about that than I am at what Triple H said. Like, the Triple H line was a little bit more. He could have been talking about anybody. He could have just been talking just in general, like the WWE way. You've got to want it. It's not something, it's not a 1 day a week travel schedule. It doesn't mean that you're working any less. It doesn't mean that you're not working as hard if you go somewhere else. It just means that the WWE is, like he said, you have guys that are great in college. You have guys that are great in high school, but when they get to the pros, they're against the best of the best, and they struggle. So it happens all the time. And, I have no problem with what Triple H said, but I don't think he was referring to Will Ospreay. I think that was some internet stuff that just took off, and the AEW.
They need to stop listening.
Well, why is it okay for WWE to take shot after shot after shot at AEW on WrestleMania week, but it's not okay for Tony Khan to do the same thing? Like, no, that was not a shot. I don't think that was a shot at AEW at all.
No, I agree. And also, it's an interview. If Will Ospreay, if he wants to defend himself, if he truly thought that was against him, so be it. So you have the right. Go on X, bust it open and say, hey, I want to make you guys some ratings. I'm going to respond to Triple H's comments. That would have been money, and nobody would have cared. Everybody would have been okay with it. Go at it, dude. But instead, he went on time of a TV, wasting precious time on the worst episode of Dynamite in the history of the world, to then sexually assault Renee Paquette. You heard me. He was grinding all up on her. That could be miscued in a billion different ways. Okay, maybe I'm stretching there. But nonetheless, he literally then said a stupid comment about the wife and mother of Triple H. Like, that's the mother of Triple H's kids, the wife of Triple H, and he's out here saying those type of lines. Let me just say one thing. Ospreay is a high level. I put Ospreay in the top tier echelon of wrestlers today of all of wrestling. You have no right, even in that position, to say anything about Triple H's grind. Triple H, as I said in my TikTok, and I'll say it here because not everyone listens to both, this dude was blackballed, completely taken off of TV and made a joke after the curtain call, in which the Clique, Hall, Nash, HBK, and Triple H all broke the windows, or broke the wall, and hugged and showed that wrestling was fake. They waved to the crowd. They said goodbye because Hall and Nash were becoming the NWO and WCW. They could not punish HBK because he is the damn greatest of all time. So they punished Triple H. I guarantee you Triple H wanted nothing to do with that. I guarantee he was forced. He was a youngin' trying to come up. That ruined his King of the Ring, which Austin won instead. That ruined his title chances. That ruined everything. This mother fudger had to build himself back up in a company that did not want him. And not only did he build it back up, had multiple world championship reigns, which, has Ospreay had this? That, one of the greatest reigns ever as champions. Then married Stephanie McMahon, did all this beforehand. And he did it while he was dating China, for crying out loud. then became a CEO or became the whatever of the company now running creative at WWE, which is the hottest it's ever been. So I don't understand about the grind comment. Like, I'm all for Ospreay defending himself, but do it in a way that makes sense. Am I wrong in that? Like, it made calling out Triple H's grind he doesn't understand. Okay. Come on, Ospreay, you're better than that.
Yeah.
I don't know if Ospreay was forced to say this shit or if he decided and just tried to wing it. Another thing too, right? When you're not being told what to say, shit like this happens and you stay stupid shit. And maybe this is that type of occurrence. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on. But this was a hot shit show and it made Ospreay look like an idiot. So
Yeah.
and
No,
I still love him. I still love him. I'm just saying it made him look like an idiot.
according to our favorite dirt sheet, Dave Meltzer, he says that it was Will Ospreay who came up with the idea. He felt that he had to respond to this shot from Triple H for personal reasons. Ospreay told Tony Khan that he would take full responsibility for it when he pitched it, and so the rest is history. So
okay, got it.
And apparently CM Punk took a shot at Ospreay during the WrestleMania interviews. It was him and The Miz, where The Miz said something like, CM Punk said, "Are you going to get that tattooed on your back?" And apparently that was a shot at Ospreay because he got the All In date tattooed on his back. And so that might be why he made that dig at CM Punk with TV time's expensive, which look, I mean, I'm all for jabs and stuff like, but this isn't the Monday Night Wars. This is, WWE is up here. AEW is down here. You're punching up when you're going at the WWE, and it just it makes no sense. And this just made AEW look really bush league, and I lost a lot of respect for Will Ospreay. I think Will Ospreay could be the face of that company, but like I think that was not a good look for Will Ospreay. Just ignore it. Who cares? Like that's my thing. Like, who cares what CM Punk said on the Ariel Helwani interview? He's not there anymore. You had your rah-rah moment last week with Adam Copeland, so everybody rallied the troops and come back working? Out. Yeah, and
did Adam Copeland say we're moving forward last week?
Yeah, and then the next, but Triple H took that shot, so we have to get after him. No, just move on. Move on. And you know what? You know what else? One thing, I know that these two companies, they say they don't like each other. I think it's really, they don't like Tony Khan. I think the wrestlers all like each other and everything. I think they all want each other to succeed.
Yes, they do.
But I don't think the WWE gives a crap about Tony Khan at all. Did Tony Khan congratulate Cody Rhodes on finishing the story at all on AEW television? Because I remember when Sting retired after his last match, I remember a little segment on Raw where it was 10 seconds. The camera panned over to Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, and they congratulated Sting on ending his career. And they talked about the icon, finishing. They didn't say he wrestled last night at AEW. He just said, we want to send our, heartfelt message to Sting, who retired last night. You're one of the greatest of all time. Pat McAfee said he had a killer match last night, and then they ended it. You couldn't have done the same thing for one of your founding fathers with Cody Rhodes. Yeah. But no, you had to take jabs at the other company. It just, this whole week, like, it started off hot with that Swerve Strickland stuff, and then it just took a complete nosedive. And that was one of the worst episodes of Dynamite I've seen in a long, long time, maybe ever.
One of the worst episodes of wrestling ever. And I've watched WCW. Here's the thing, right? Is that this was to try to take away views and attention from WrestleMania week, and it completely backfired. He knows it backfired. I hope Ospreay recovers from this. I hope that WCW was beating WWE. They could talk shit. The end, right? But it backfired. Their shit talking backfired and started to lead to the demise of WCW. Tony Khan and Bischoff don't like each other because years back, Tony Khan said, "I'll never be WCW. I won't make the same mistakes." He is
making the same mistakes.
He grew up watching the Attitude Era, so he watched the WCW. I truly feel like in my head that this dude is doing this on purpose. Like, he wants to relive it because he can. He has all the, who cares if he loses $1 million, 18 million, 90 million, $100 million a year? He doesn't give a shit. So I think I'm very, very intrigued on to see what the future is. And I want AEW to succeed because we
Me
need
too.
we need a alternative to WWE. But to be that alternative, shut your mouth. Like Eric Bischoff made a great point. Be ECW. Don't be WCW. Be the alternative. Just do you, be different, and you will succeed. If you're going to continue to want to steal WWE guys and be WWE and try to live that image and bring them up constantly, everybody's saying WWE brings them up all the time. All of those things were interviews. None of that was on the show. And that is the difference between Bush League and being the best.
Yeah.
It is what it is, man.
No, I completely agree. And yeah, I hope this isn't, maybe I'm being dramatic, but I really hope that this is not the beginning of the end of AEW. I want them to be successful. But this kind of stuff, it's got to stop. You know, like that, showing that footage is probably the dumbest. I can live if Will Ospreay cut that promo and they didn't air that footage, I could live with it. You know, okay, like you make your little shots at Triple H, whatever. They just had the biggest weekend ever. Okay, you move on. But they aired the footage and then he cut that promo as if like everything is peachy over here, but you're grinding on the butt. Like,
and Adam Copeland just said we're moving on. He announced it as a company. So who is TK running the show or not? That's what I got to say. And Ospreay saying he takes blame. Sorry to break it to you. You want to talk about assault at work and you get fired at my job? I don't just get to tell my boss, hey, I'm going to go ahead and do this and make this poor decision. And if it backfires, it's on me. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
No, it affects the company.
No.
The boss needs to say, no, Ospreay, you're not going to go out and say a juvenile comment. No. Sorry, that was a juvenile comment. Ospreay
it was dumb.
It was so many different things and he thought in his head, grinding and sex, this will be funny. It was juvenile. And if AEW goes under, maybe Ospreay's fine with living in New Japan the rest of his time. But I guarantee you a part of him wants to go have a WrestleMania moment, and he might have lost that. So
yeah, he may have burned a bridge. And that's the thing, too. Like, if AEW, and again, this is not wishful thinking on our part, but 2 years from now, if AEW's done, where do all these guys go? That's the other thing. So they stop shooting yourselves in the foot because, they all can't go back to WWE. They all, not, and if they go to WWE, they all can't be main eventers, right? Like you can't have Orange Cassidy, Adam Cole, Swerve Strickland, MJF coming in and taking spots away from Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. And, they're going to have to go to NXT and all that, but there's only room for so many people in WWE. So we need AEW around.
Yes,
we want
do.
it to be successful. It's a good product when they stop. Like the last 4 weeks of AEW has been fantastic, but this week was atrocious. And it's just because they're going back to these stupid little pot shots at WWE. And it's just, especially after their biggest WrestleMania of all time. They just had the biggest event in in WWE's history, WrestleMania 40, one of the best WrestleManias. And AEW is like, oh, let's stick it to them by making these comments. Like, you just look minor leagues.
I agree. All right. That was the week of AEW. You ready? That was a hot shit show. Hard to get through. Let's get into our segment.
Go for hours on that.
We could.
You
ready for? Huh?
Yeah, I was just gonna go. You know who? It just occurred to me. You know who AEW is right now? They're LeVar Ball. If you remember LeVar Ball when he was doing all that trash, he was like, "I can beat Michael Jordan in a game of one-on-one. I can. My son LaMelo can beat LeBron in a game of one-on-one. Lonzo is going to be the greatest Laker of all time. Just like that's who AEW is. He's AEW. Where are these guys now? Lonzo can't stay healthy. LaMelo is down here in Charlotte and he's stinking up the joint. And
he blames it on the shoes. Have you heard about that?
Oh yeah. They had their own shoes. Yeah.
No, but he blamed it on the shoes, that all the injuries and everything happened to his kids because they have poor shoes. Yeah.
Which they were his shoes. They were 3MB or whatever, not 3MB, but big baller brand. So that's
still on Charlotte.
Yeah, LaMelo. Yeah.
Charlotte sucks. They're 20-60.
He can't stay healthy. But that's who AEW is right now.
You're right. He played 22 games.
Wow. They are LeVar Ball. Talking smack to some of the greatest of all times, talking smack to the legends, talking smack to the big guys, and they can't back it up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I got a few good ones on Would You Rather, so let's rush through these. I got some good ones. I want to know your takes on some of these.
Of course.
You ready? We don't have a song, or do we?
No songs. No songs.
All right. So would you rather? This is
They don't deserve songs.
No. We're gonna ask each other a few scenario questions, and we have to decide which one would we rather have happen. Let's get through these. Maybe not go too detailed. Too detailed. Are you ready? Ryan enjoys wrestling.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
do it. What's
Let's do
the
it.
first one you got for me?
Okay. Let's see. All right. This one's good. All right.
All right.
Hook or The Rock? Whose title would you rather have? So Hook has the FTW championship, which is not a legitimate championship, but yet they defend it regularly on AEW television. That match with Jack Perry and Hook at All In, that started this whole thing, that was for the FTW title. But The Rock was recently crowned the People's Champion in the WWE, and it's probably the best looking belt that the WWE has. And you know, he let Cody Rhodes hold his title on Monday Night Raw. So I want to know from you, which title would you rather have? The FTW championship with Hook or the People's Championship of the Rocks?
You know, this is probably unpopular. I'm going to say FTW only because I love Taz. I was an ECW dude. I like it. I'm going to say that. I wasn't the biggest Muhammad Ali fan, and that's who, you know, the wife gave it to The Rock, which I think is an awesome, awesome thing that it happened. The belt's gorgeous. But I'm going to say FTW only because Taz is my dude. I always love the human suplex machine. Sorry, the human duplex machine.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna agree. That belt don't get me wrong, that belt with The Rock is money. Like I said, I think that might be the best design belt that they have, and it's not even a legitimate championship. But I would also rather have Hook's FTW title because at least even though it's not really a championship, they put it on the line. So he wrestles for it. He actually gets to, so it feels like a legitimate title, even though it's not.
Oh, that belt's on the line at Mania 41. Believe you me, it's going to be champion versus champion. You'll see. That's why
the undisputed Universal People's
Universal World WWE Champion of AEW. Right, here's a good AEW one. I'm going to open up hot. You ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Would you rather TKO by AEW and have Triple H come out on an episode of Dynamite Vince did on Nitro, or Tony Khan just to close up shop and retire it? What would you rather have? If they're going to end, I'm not saying they are, what would you rather have?
I think I'd rather have Triple H come out on an episode of Dynamite.
I still love when Vince or Shane did it and Vince and whatever. Yeah.
I don't want to see them close their doors. I don't want to see them be done.
Neither do I.
I want to see them continue. And if TKO buys them and Triple H, they appoint him as chief content officer, he could always appoint somebody else like Road Dogg or somebody to run AEW and kind of keep them separated. He could use it as an enhancement thing with like it's an NXT light or there's all kinds of things that they can do with it. But I don't want them to do that at all. But if I had to choose, I'd rather AEW stay around.
I agree. All right. Go ahead.
All right. Let's get into some matches. All right. So would you rather see Adam Cole versus MJF in a non-title match at AEW All In London? Or would you rather see MJF versus Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Championship at AEW All In London? So MJF gets his world title rematch against Swerve, who wins the title at Dynasty next week, or he gets his match against Adam Cole again because they wrestled last year for the title.
That's a good question. I mean, if I was to really choose, I'd rather see Punk versus Jungle Boy 2, but I'm gonna go
Rumble in the Jungle,
bruv. The best 8 seconds I've ever seen since last night.
Yeah. They should really do a pay-per-view like in Africa or somewhere and call it Rumble in the Jungle 2 and make Jungle Boy versus Punk the main event.
And they shove each other, get in a hold, and Samoa Joe breaks it up. I'm gonna go MJF Adam Cole just because they need to close up, and if MJF comes back, he can't lose to Swerve, and Swerve can't lose to him that quickly. I think Swerve needs to have a little long title reign. I'm fearful now that Priest is going to have a short reign and other people. I don't want Swerve to also have a short reign. So I'm going to go Cole. Where is Adam Cole? I know he's fighting himself on the internet again because he's out of shape and people are saying he needs to go to the gym. I don't know why we're always like body shaming weight. Like these guys aren't tough and real. Like they don't have to be like
And they can,
muscular.
these guys can drop weight, like they can get abs next week if they wanted
Yes. Yeah. If you don't believe me, look at Roman Reigns. Homeboy just showed up with abs one day. So, yeah, but I'm all about Adam Cole, baby, and MJF. We need to see that. And if MJF is coming back, which I honestly would rather see him in WWE, let's have him versus MJF.
Yeah, I want
MJF
that too.
versus Adam Cole. Sorry,
I want that too, just for the story continuation. The last time we saw MJF, he was getting turned on by Adam Cole. So yeah, I would love to see Adam Cole versus MJF. 3, I guess, but this time babyface MJF versus heel Adam Cole. Yeah, sign me up. Sign me up.
I agree. And he's getting turned on by Adam Cole. I get turned on by Britt Baker. All right, you ready? I got 2 more, but here's one.
Yeah, I got a couple more too.
Would you rather Wardlow finally be the AEW champion, or Wardlow go to WWE? What would you rather see?
Rather see him win the AEW championship.
All right.
I think he they keep fumbling the ball with him though, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to WWE, but I just feel like with WWE, you've got some of the bigger guys there already. You have Braun Breaker, you have Brock Lesnar when he comes back. You've got Ivar. Like they already have their share of big guys that can go. I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of them, but I don't think they need Wardlow. I think Wardlow he'd be perfect. He's perfect in AEW if they could just push him. That guy could be a face of wrestling if they use him 100%. Correctly. So
100%.
I don't.
All right.
I feel like if he went to WWE, he'd go to NXT, get lost in the shuffle, and but in AEW can make him a star. So
yeah. I don't know. Him as an NXT World Champion sounds pretty bonerific.
Yeah, it would be good.
I'm going to go AEW champ as well, only because poor dude has done nothing but succeed and been pushed back by Tony Khan. Like I said, Vince hates the small guys. Tony Khan hates the big guys. And now we know why, because he fears for his life when a guy yells at him.
But all right, little guys that are making him fear for his life too, which is weird.
Yeah, CM Punk ain't big. Yeah, it's not like he's like this monster. All right, last one. What's your last one? I'll do my last one. Go ahead.
All right. So going back to Hook, who I think is probably the funniest person in that CM Punk footage. But Ricky Starks or Hook, who would you rather see AEW push going forward in 2024?
So a singles push?
Yes,
Starks has been pushed in tag team. Okay.
Yeah, both could be headed to WWE. With Hook's or the rumor about Hook's free agency, but Ricky Starks has been all about Cody Rhodes. He was at WrestleMania 40. So
yeah, I think they're both going to WWE sooner or later after their contract ends. Okay, so push. Oh God, I love Hook so much. I love Hook a lot, but I'm going to say Ricky Starks just because Ricky Starks he's ready. He's ready. Just like after I saw Daniel Garcia on Collision basically say like he's about to be that dude. I'm like, you're ready, dude. Get new trunks though. I don't know what the hell pants he was wearing on Collision, but like we need it was like the Rockers mixed with who knows what. But I want to see Ricky Starks. That dude's he's like Hook. He's had an FTW run and that's it. So I want a real run. Yeah, Hook hasn't had that yet, but I'd rather see him win a championship, a TNT championship. I'm all for it. Send Hook, yes, but if I got to choose, I go with Ricky because he's more ready. Been there longer.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Ricky Starks. I think AEW could. This is really weird to think of star quality, but I think AEW could survive without Hook, but I think they would really hurt if they lost Ricky Starks. So I think they need to push Starks to the moon. Because he's money, man. He's money.
He is. They're off to a good start too. He had a great tag team tournament match. All right, you ready? Last one.
Yeah.
What would you rather watch? AEW currently or WCW in 2000? Booyaka. That's the rage on X. Let's go.
All right. I'm going to stand up for All Elite Wrestling. I would much rather watch AEW today than WCW of 2000. I think I'm sorry, like Judy Bagwell on a forklift does not do it for me. The contract on a pole match doesn't do it for me. The everyone wearing football uniforms and like
Vince was in one too, Russo, right? Yeah.
yeah, that doesn't do it for me. Like the last like year of WCW was absolutely hot freaking garbage. At least with AEW, you're going to get a good match. You're going to get some good quality wrestling. You may not, the stories may be wonky. They may go in 18 different directions. They may start and stop tomorrow, but at least you're going to get some quality wrestling, which I can't say we got that in the latter days of WCW. Now, we did have Booker T. We did have Big Papa Pump. They were all doing their thing. They had probably some of their better runs in that latter half of WCW. But I can't see, the wrestling was atrocious. The forklift matches, the on a pole matches, I don't even remember. Some of the matches were just the finger poke of doom. Some of that stuff was just god awful.
Yeah, was that in 2000? I think so.
Yeah.
When I think of the 2000s, I think of Vince Russo, although Bischoff was closing up shop on it. But
it was in 99.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought. So 2000s was different. 2000s, though, they did have talent. They had Steiner. They had Booker T. They had Goldberg. They had Sting. They still had Hogan. They had Nash. They still had bangers. They had Benoit and all them still. They didn't leave till right after that, I believe. So when they left right before it got folded up. They still had talent. Rey Mysterio, he stayed the whole time. They had.
He was maskless. He was filthy animals. Rey Mysterio.
Oh yeah, he was. Oh, he's a good-looking dude. He's no Dominic Mysterio.
But you had a Viagra on a pole match. You had a guy whose name was that 70s guy.
I don't remember that. We need a Blue Chew on a pole match.
Yeah, I know.
Eric Bischoff and Tony Khan. They need to go at it and
I can't say that. We'll get banned. But
no, Tony Khan's all about that Booger Sugar.
Booger Sugar on a pole. Yeah, and then I'm just looking at some of the then Hulk Hogan walking out of Bash at the Beach 2000. Jim Duggan, he became
that's the worst thing ever. Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Eric Bischoff was hardcore champion. All this stuff was Vince Russo was Tony Khan's going to win the AEW World Championship, isn't he? He's going to book himself to win.
Oh my God.
That's what Vince Russo did.
That was like the worst.
David
Vince
Arquette
also booked himself, but
yeah.
Hey, don't be crapping on David Arquette's the best wrestler alive.
What celebrity is going to come into AEW and win the world championship from MJF? Who could, or Swerve or Samoa Joe? Who could do it?
I don't know.
We could still be like Jerry Seinfeld or somebody.
We could still use David Arquette. He's still around.
Is
he wrestling?
Yeah, he still wrestles, I think.
Yeah,
but there's a meme. Like this is I hate X, but this is one of my favorite things on X is they show like AEW's biggest draws, and there's always a picture of Sheldon Cooper because it's all the lead into AEW.
Funny.
So put Sheldon Cooper. Let Jim Parsons come in and win the AEW World Championship.
I love it.
But no, I would much rather watch the current product.
I agree.
Of AEW than WCW 2000s. They had some god awful stuff.
Here's the thing: AEW's had some bad episodes, but it's not WCW 2000s. The reason why people are comparing it, I believe, unless you're an AEW hater, is what happened, what transpired. Because in the 2000s, that's when the Vince Russo and the whole Hogan debacle, and that was they're both close. I think Hogan's is worse, but they're pretty damn close. I think the footage is just so bad because it proved and did nothing, and you could have had the Young Bucks and FTR still promote the segment or their feud or the storyline by talking about it without showing it. I just don't understand why they showed it. And I think that's what makes it so bad because it didn't make anybody look good. Because some people are saying Jungle Boy looked like a bitch. Some people are saying Punk looked like he assaulted. He's a D worded. People are saying Tony Khan looks like a little punk. It just didn't. What did it? There was zero positives out of it. So we'll see. I wonder if it's going to hurt. Right after that, Tony Khan tweeted, TBS, thank you so much for being my best friend. Dear TBS, how I love thee. TBS, please keep citing me. TBS. So obviously he's worried about something. But that's what happens, right? Because when you're on that you know, that booger juice. You know, you
get paranoid.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I've never done
fiction
it.
in a women's bathroom. Hot damn, hot damn, hot damn. You are making decisions that you're not rationally thinking about, and he's a child, man. I'm
whole
sorry.
thing.
Tony Khan's a child. It is what it is.
That whole thing was just. How do you think Okada feels? How do you think Mercedes Moné feels? How do you think Adam Copeland feels? How do you think that they just brought two people over from the WWE in new executive roles? Then one of them's on the creative team. How do you think she feels going from the quote unquote professional environment? And you can loosely use the term professional because we all know
at that time because of Vince. Yes.
Yeah. But she went from that professional environment to this. And the same thing, there's like a new head of like live events for AEW who came from WWE. He went from that to this. Like Tony Schiavone looked upset. Renee Paquette looked upset. It was just, yeah. It was not a good look for AEW, and it's all because of Tony Khan.
100%. Out of all this is what I got. It's Tony Khan's fault. All right, that's our episode. Hopefully next week they'll turn it around. I know you're starting to get to the point where you want to give up. I don't want to give up yet. No, I love all of wrestling. I know you were caught in the moment like Tony Khan. You were sniffing that booger juice, and that you're like, how dare he?
No, I was just like, dude, what? I texted you like, what the fuck? But it was.
You hit me up. You hit me up because I have West Coast time, so I don't get it till later. And you were like, no, dude. Look at this fucking footage. You can't like wait any longer. You have to see this. I literally thought it was gonna be like stupid, like CM Punk was gonna have like Dax's head on it.
That's what I thought.
Boy was gonna have like Nicholas.
I would have been fine with that. Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like they were gonna show it, but not. Samoa Joe's head would have had somebody else, and it just been like, satire. That's what I thought. But no, they just showed that shit like it was like perfectly A-okay.
And then they just went to commercial, and it was just like, okay, well, that's it. Yeah.
So stupid.
Yeah.
Oh man. But hopefully that's the end of it. We can move on. I was vibing with AEW. I was vibing with AEW on Rampage and
they had a solid week.
The first beginning of Dynamite. I was like, dude, we are back, bruv. And then my dude bruv came out and embarrassed himself, and it's just let's just
there's a pay-per-view next week too. That's the other thing. Like there's a pay-per-view.
And I was thinking about us buying it and doing it, but now I'm kind of like, I don't know if I don't want to see like more WWE nonsense. That's not what I'm watching for. I know WWE's nonsense. We don't like 100% of what WWE does. We criticize it constantly. I got shit for dogging on Cody Rhodes, not wanting to, you know what I mean? Like that's the difference, right? I think people forget that. WWE hardcore fans, they're hardcore and they crap on AEW, but at least they'll fight within each other as well. Yeah. AEW fans crap on WWE, and if you say anything about AEW, they are like hell to the no.
You hate
like
it. You want them to close. You want them to go down.
They're like family. They're like the dudes from Fast and Furious. You can have a Corona. You can have any beer you want as long as it's a Corona. These guys are like about that life, and I'm not either.
Olive Garden, man. That's what they are. When you're here, your family.
They do not. They don't care what you put on AEW. They're gonna support it to the death, and it's just insane to me. Like you can admit when shit's bad. Like my Clippers. I love my Clippers and I want them to win, but they are playing shit basketball right now. I don't got much hope in them. So you're allowed to admit when something you like sucks. You know what I mean? I text Ryan all the time, like, bro, your podcast today, do better.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We're
I'm like, I was actually going to bring something up, but let's just keep it. That was a joke. But
let's not do AEW. Let's be bigger than that. Let's be bigger than that.
Some footage I would like to air.
Oh man, but no, I just crapped on the Charlotte Hornets. They're terrible, but that doesn't mean that I want them to fold. It doesn't mean that I think they should sell the team and move them back to New Orleans or wherever they came from. Like, no, we don't want AEW to. We want AEW to be successful, and doing crap like this is Bush League, and it doesn't make you look good at the end of the day.
No, it doesn't. You're right. So with that, AEW, I'm excited for next week. Let's regroup.
Predictions next week. Yeah.
You got a jam-packed Rampage. We got predictions for Dynasty. Make us want to rent it. Come on, make us want to do it. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. All right. Two dudes, thank you for tuning in as always.
Let's go.
We out. Let's go.
Two dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. With Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.